If you just became a Caniac in the last year, welcome. We just won a Stanley Cup, so it's a great time to be here. But there's something that you need to understand about what just happened during that playoff run and something that new fans can't fully appreciate. So if you want to be able to fit right in with a decades-long fan like me or a lifelong fan like some of the followers and people I've been commenting with on this channel, then there's something you really got to understand because anyone who lived through the last decade of Hurricane hockey felt this so deeply when we finally beat Montreal in the Eastern Conference final this year that some of us maybe even cried. So I want you here. I'm glad you're here, New Caniacs, but please understand this one thing so that you can really get in deep with us. All right. It's not just that we won the cup. It's that we finally broke through the round that has haunted this team for honestly 20 years, definitely the last 10. It's the Eastern Conference Final. Let me tell you the whole story because if you didn't live through it like I did and many other fans did, you can't understand what June 2026 actually meant. Before this year, the Carolina Hurricanes had not won an Eastern Conference Final series since 2006. 20 years. We got swept in 2009 by Pittsburgh. Every single time we got close, every single time it fell apart. And we honestly looked great through the first two rounds, and then the wheels came off in the Eastern Conference Finals. Let me walk you through it because to me, it's why I bought this hat right away. It felt so great being a Carolina Hurricanes fan when we won that Eastern Conference series. So let me walk you through here. May 2019, first Eastern Conference final appearance of the Brind'Amour era. This was the year of the storm surge that we were taking over the league. This was the bunch of jerks year that was going on. First playoff appearance in quite a while. We have a young core. Aho, Svechnikov, Slavin. Teravainen was on the team. Love him. We're looking like we could make the leap. We beat the defending Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals in 7 games. I think that went to double overtime. We swept New York, the Islanders, in the second round. We played the Boston Bruins in the Eastern Conference Final, and they sweep us 4 games to 0. We were a young team. Boston was older, tougher, more experienced. It was a learning experience. That's what everyone said. Next time we'd be ready, we'd be back. Okay. May 2023. By now, this core's been through it. Aho's a superstar. Svechnikov's elite. Brind'Amour's one of Jack Adams. We have built one of the best regular season teams in the entire league. We beat the New York Islanders in 6. We beat the New Jersey Devils in 5. We were rested. We had home ice. Felt ready. I was excited. Then we played the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final. Sweep. 4 games to 0. Here's the part that probably hurt worse than Boston. Every game was decided by 1 goal. And 2 of those 4 losses went to overtime. 2 of them. Game 1, I stayed up all night long. It went to 4 overtimes. It was extremely exciting. And then when we lost, completely deflating to lose game 1 after that type of battle. Game 3, I think they scored with like less than a minute left to beat us. Svechnikov was injured and didn't play. I think Slavin got injured. We just couldn't catch a break. Anyway, Florida swept us. And I was frustrated, right? So then we get to May 2025, 2 years later. This time, again, we think it's different. Freddie's healthy. Team looks deeper. Roster's rebuilt. Beat the Devils in 5. Beat the Caps in 5. Get back to the Eastern Conference Final. Same thing. Wow, we looked good through the first 2 rounds. We're ready for the Panthers this time. And we won a playoff game. That was great. We finally won an ECF. 1 game in 4. And then they beat us 4 times. Well, I don't know if it was 4 in a row. I don't remember that exactly. They ran us out of the series in game 5. Anderson, I think played horrible in game 5. I think it was at home. 1 Eastern Conference Final game win out of all of those series. And we hadn't won a series. So it wasn't just that we lost again. It was that we finally scratched out 1 win and then we lost a series just like we always had. And so we were looking like we could do really well in the first 2 rounds and then just get crushed in the Eastern Conference Final. So then 2026 comes around. Game one in the Eastern Conference Final. Us versus Montreal. We swept Ottawa in round one. We swept Philly in round two. We were top seed in the Eastern Conference. We had 11 days of rest before the game. And Montreal comes into Lenovo Center and scores 4 goals in the first period. 4 goals in the first period at home. We just swept the earlier two series. The final was, what was the final, guys? 6-2? It wasn't even close. As a Caniac watching that game, I had this thought go through my head. I'm sure every single Caniac at least thought it for a moment. Thank gosh the team didn't think it. But I was thinking, oh no, not again. Not this same story. Not the Eastern Conference Finals starts with our doors getting blown off at home. We were 1-17 in their last 18 Eastern Conference Finals games. Then game two came around. Same building, a couple days later. Montreal tied it 2-2 in the third period. This was it. This was where it always goes wrong for us. Overtime in the Eastern Conference Final where you have to win because Montreal can't go up 2-0. Then Nikolai Ehlers, the free agent Tulski signed last summer, got loose in the middle of the ice at 3:29 of overtime and beats it to the back of the neck. Ehlers scored twice in that game, and when the moment came, the player that we had brought here specifically to be the guy who could score in these moments scored in that moment. Series tied 1-1, heading back to Montreal. Then in game three in Montreal, overtime again, Svetch scores. Game four, 4-0. Game five, back to Raleigh 6-1. Series over. We'd won 4 straight games after the game one disaster. 4 straight games in a series that every other one had been a heartbreaker. And even when game one went bad and the ghosts of 2019, 2023, 2025 showed up, team didn't fold. Every previous version of this team, if they had lost game one, I think we'd gone down 0-2. But this team was built different. And that's the whole point, right? That's why it's fun to talk about this stuff on the channel. How you build your team matters. And this was a team that was built to go to the Stanley Cup and beat Vegas in 6. Love the Cup final, obviously. But it was very emotional breaking that Eastern Conference final curse. And not just like we got stomped in the Eastern Conference final, let's be honest. So to actually be there and win and overcome that to get the cup, it was joy, it was relief, and it was exciting for the future. So welcome, new Caniacs. Enjoy the cup, all of that, but understand what you're part of. The team didn't just win a championship. They broke a 20-year curse that had haunted this franchise. If you hadn't been following it, it was brutal. So when you're watching next year's playoff run, when we're in the third round again, all right, remember what this feels like. Remember how great it is to have the monkey off our back for Eastern Conference Finals. Welcome, Caniac Nation. Hit that like and subscribe. Go Canes. We'll catch you in the next video.